I found out my boyfriend was cheating when his boss accidentally texted me instead of him, asking if she knew about us yet. My name is Emma, I'm 29, and I work as a nurse in the pediatric unit at Mercy General Hospital in Chicago. My boyfriend Daniel and I had been together for 4 years, living together for 2. We met at a mutual friend's wedding. He'd caught the garter, I'd caught the bouquet, and everyone had cheered when we were pushed together for the traditional photo. He was a financial analyst, charming and ambitious, always talking about his next career move. We had a nice apartment in Lincoln Park, split the bills 50-50, and had started casually looking at engagement rings a few months earlier. I thought we were building towards something permanent. Life felt stable. I'd work my 12-hour shifts, come home exhausted, and Daniel would usually have dinner waiting, or at least have ordered takeout. We'd watch TV together, discuss our days, make plans for the future. He wanted to propose at Christmas. He hadn't said it explicitly, but I'd seen him watching jewelry store commercials a little too intently. My mom adored him. My friends thought we were perfect together. But things had started shifting around February. Daniel got a new boss, Victoria, a 42-year-old vice president who'd transferred from the New York office. He talked about her constantly. Victoria thinks I should pursue the senior analyst position. Victoria invited me to this networking event. Victoria says I have real leadership potential. At first, I was happy for him. He'd been stuck in the same role for 3 years, and it seemed like someone finally recognized his talent. Then came the late nights. Team meetings that ran until 9 p.m. Strategy sessions over dinner. A weekend conference in Milwaukee that Victoria thought would be crucial for his development. He'd come home smelling like wine and expensive restaurants, talking about market trends and portfolio management until I'd fall asleep mid-conversation. His phone habits changed too. He'd always been casual about it, leaving it on the counter, letting me use it if mine was dead. Suddenly, it had a passcode. When I asked about it, he said the company required it for security reasons. New client confidentiality protocols. It sounded reasonable. He started dressing better. New suits, expensive ties, cologne that cost more than my monthly car payment. He joined a gym near his office and would go during lunch breaks. When I suggested we work out together like we used to, he'd say his schedule was too tight, that he needed to maximize his lunch hour. He'd come home with his hair still damp from the shower, smelling like that expensive cologne. The sex dropped off. We went from 3 or 4 times a week to once every couple of weeks. When I'd initiate, he'd say he was stressed about work, that he had an early morning, that he just needed to decompress. I started wondering if something was wrong with me. I'd stand in front of the mirror after my shifts, still in my scrubs, wondering if he found me unattractive. If he was bored. If the long hours and exhaustion of nursing had made me less desirable. I tried harder. I bought new lingerie. I suggested date nights. I planned a surprise weekend getaway for his birthday in April. He seemed appreciative but distracted, checking his phone even during our romantic dinner overlooking the lake. Then came the promotion. Daniel had been working toward the senior financial analyst position for months. When he finally got it in early May, he was ecstatic. He called me from the office, practically shouting into the phone. "I got it, Em. Victoria just told me. She's taking me out to celebrate tonight. The whole team's going to Morton's." That's amazing. I'd squealed, genuinely thrilled for him. What time should I be ready? There was a pause. Oh, babe, it's just a work thing. You'd be bored. Bunch of finance people talking shop. I'll make it up to you this weekend, I promise. I'll take you somewhere nice. I tried not to feel hurt. It was his achievement, his colleagues. I told myself it was fine. He came home at midnight, loosened tie, reeking of whiskey and that damn cologne. He kissed me sloppily and passed out within minutes. I lay awake next to him, feeling a hollow ache in my chest that I couldn't name. The next morning, I was getting ready for my shift when his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He was in the shower. I wasn't the type to snoop. I'd never been that girlfriend. But something made me look. The message preview lit up the screen. Victoria Chin. Last night was perfect. When are you telling Emma? My stomach dropped. My hands started shaking. I grabbed his phone, my fingers fumbling with the passcode, his birthday, the only code I could think to try. It didn't work. I tried mine. Nothing. I tried our anniversary date. It unlocked. The shower was still running. I had maybe 3 minutes. I opened his messages with Victoria. The first thing I saw was a photo. Her, in a black dress I recognized from Daniel's work event last night, sitting in what looked like a hotel room. The message thread went back months. February. Right when she'd started. I couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. I scrolled up, my vision blurring with tears. Can't wait to have you all to myself tonight. Tell the girlfriend you're working late again. You're so much better than I imagined. Do you think about me when you're with her? And Daniel's responses. Eager. Enthusiastic. Detailed in ways that made me want to throw up. The shower turned off. I heard him singing. Actually singing. I took photos of everything with my own phone. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to retake several. I closed his messages, put the phone back exactly where it was, and walked out of the bedroom like a zombie. I called in sick to work. I never called in sick. In 3 years at Mercy General, I'd used maybe 4 sick days total. My supervisor sounded worried, asked if I was okay. I wasn't okay. I was so far from okay, I couldn't even see it from where I was standing. Daniel left for work at his usual time, kissed my forehead, told me to feel better. I watched him go, this man I'd built a life with, and felt absolutely nothing. The love, the trust, the future we'd planned, it had evaporated in the span of 10 minutes. I sat on our couch for an hour, staring at nothing. Apollo, our neighbor's dog, was barking outside. Cars drove past. The world kept moving while mine had completely stopped. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Emma? This is Victoria Chen. We need to talk. I think there's been a mistake. A mistake. That's what she was calling it. A mistake. I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back. What kind of mistake involves sleeping with someone else's boyfriend for 4 months? The 3 dots appeared immediately. For months? Emma, I think Daniel has been lying to both of us. Can we meet? Today? Please. There are things you need to know. I almost said no. Almost blocked her number and spent the day packing Daniel's things. But something in her message, the urgency, the implication that she'd been lied to as well, made me pause. When and where? The Starbucks on Clark Street. 1 hour. I showed up early, got a coffee I couldn't drink, and sat in the corner booth. Victoria arrived at exactly noon. She looked different than I'd imagined. Older, yes, but professional, composed, not the homewrecker I'd built up in my mind. She was wearing a business suit, no makeup, her eyes red-rimmed. She sat down without ordering anything. He told me you two broke up in January. I blinked. What? Daniel told me you'd ended things. That you were still living together temporarily while you figured out the apartment situation, but that it was over. She pulled out her phone. He showed me texts. Conversations where you were supposedly talking about dividing furniture, discussing move-out dates. We never broke up. We were looking at engagement rings. Her face crumbled. Oh my God. Show me the texts, I said. She turned her phone around. The messages looked real. My name, my profile picture, conversations about splitting up, moving on, staying friends. But they weren't real. They couldn't be real, because I never sent them. These aren't for me, I said slowly. I don't know how, but he faked these. Victoria's hands were shaking now too. Last night, after the dinner, we went to the Marriott downtown. We'd been seeing each other since February. He said once your lease was up in June, we could be public. He said he was waiting for the right time to tell his family that his mom really liked you and it would be hard. She was crying now. I thought I was dating someone who was handling a breakup maturely. I didn't know I was the other woman. The betrayal was layered, complex. He hadn't just cheated. He'd constructed an elaborate lie, deceived both of us, managed 2 separate realities with the precision of a con artist. I got a text from his phone this morning, Victoria continued. From Daniel's number. It said she knows. We need to talk. But when I responded, you answered. I realized he must have accidentally sent it to you instead of me. He has us both saved in his phone. He must have clicked the wrong contact. The text. The one I'd seen that morning that had started all of this. He'd meant to send it to Victoria, probably panicking after I'd seen her first message. "I need to see everything," I said. "Every message, every photo, every lie he told you." We spent 2 hours in that Starbucks. Victoria showed me months of deception, hotel receipts, dinner reservations, weekend trips he'd told me were work conferences. She showed me messages where he'd complained about me, said I was clingy, boring, that I didn't understand his ambition, that being with her felt like being with an equal. That part hurt almost more than the cheating. I showed her the real texts from my phone, the ones where Daniel and I discussed our future, where he talked about proposing, where he said he couldn't imagine life without me. She looked sick. "He's a sociopath," she whispered. "He's something," I agreed. Victoria told me something else. Something that made my blood run cold. She wasn't the first. There had been another woman last year, an intern named Sophia. Daniel had dated her for 2 months before she'd found out about me and quit the company. Victoria had only learned about it through office gossip. "How many others?" I asked. "I don't know," Victoria said. "But Emma, I think we need to find out." We became unlikely allies that day. Victoria gave me access to Daniel's work calendar, his expense reports, his travel history. I went through our bank statements. We had separate accounts, but I'd always been able to see the shared expenses. There were charges I'd never noticed before. Jewelry stores. Multiple jewelry stores. That's when I found the receipt, hidden in his gym bag, which I'd never bothered to check before. A receipt from Tiffany & Company. A diamond engagement ring. Purchased 3 weeks ago. For a moment, my heart soared. He had bought a ring. He was going to propose. Maybe this was all a horrible misunderstanding, maybe. Then I saw the custom engraving. V and D forever. V, not E. He'd bought Victoria an engagement ring. While we were living together. While I was planning our future. While he was still telling me he loved me every single day. I called my best friend Jess. She arrived within 20 minutes, took one look at me, and pulled me into her arms. I sobbed for the first time since that morning, great heaving cries that made my chest ache. She held me until I couldn't cry anymore. Then she said the words I needed to hear. "We're going to destroy him." The confrontation happened at his office. I'd originally planned to do it at home, but Victoria convinced me otherwise. He spent months lying to both of us. Let's see how he handles the truth in front of everyone he's been trying to impress. I showed up at his office at 4 p.m. on a Friday. Victoria had arranged it so that most of the team would still be there, including their managing director. I walked through the glass doors in my scrubs. I'd just gotten off shift, and asked the receptionist for Daniel Martinez. She called up. "Your girlfriend is here to see you." Daniel came down looking confused. He saw me and his face went pale. "Emma, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk," I said loudly enough that people turned to look. "About Victoria. About Sophia. About the engagement ring you bought with Victoria's initials on it." The office went silent. "Emma, let's talk outside." "No." I pulled out my phone, showed him the screenshots. "Let's talk about how you've been dating your boss for 4 months while telling me you wanted to marry me. Let's talk about how you faked text messages to make her think we'd broken up. Let's talk about how you're a lying, manipulative, pathetic excuse for a human being." Victoria appeared from the elevator. She'd been waiting upstairs. "Let's also talk about how you submitted fake expense reports to cover up your hotel stays. And how you've been using company resources for personal relationships, which violates about 17 different HR policies." Daniel looked like he was going to pass out. "Vic, I can explain." "Don't call me that," Victoria said coldly. "I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not your anything. As of this moment, I'm your former boss. I've already spoken to HR and the managing director. You're being terminated effective immediately." "You can't." "I can," she said. "Sexual harassment. Misuse of company funds. Falsification of records. Take your pick." Security arrived. The office was dead silent, everyone watching. Daniel tried to appeal to me, his eyes desperate. "Emma, please. This is my career. You're ruining my life." "I'm ruining your life?" I laughed, and it sounded unhinged. You ruined it yourself. I'm just making sure everyone knows who you really are." They escorted him out. I watched him go, this man I'd loved for 4 years, and felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. Victoria turned to me. "Thank you." "Thank you," I said back. We went to a bar afterward, me, Victoria, and Jess. It was the strangest grief support group imaginable. We toasted to dodging bullets, to finding out before it was too late, to the ex-boyfriends who didn't deserve us. "I'm sorry," Victoria said at one point,
"for my part in this."
Even though I didn't know, I still... "Don't," I interrupted. "You're a victim here too. He lied to both of us." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "What are you going to do now?" "Move on," I said simply. "That's all I can do." The aftermath was messy. I moved out of our apartment within a week. Jess helped me pack while Daniel was at his parents' house, too ashamed to face me. I took everything that was mine and left everything that was his, including the coffee maker he loved and the TV we bought together. I didn't want any reminders. Word spread fast. Our mutual friends chose sides. Most chose mine once they heard the full story. Daniel's reputation was destroyed. Victoria made sure the story got around the finance community in Chicago. He couldn't get hired anywhere decent. Last I heard, he'd moved back to his hometown in Indiana. Sophia, the intern from last year, reached out to me through Facebook. We met for coffee. Turned out, there had been another girl before her too, a woman from his gym. We formed a group chat, half-joking calling ourselves Daniel's Survivors Club. It was therapeutic in a dark comedy sort of way. It's been 9 months now. I'm sitting in my new studio apartment, smaller than what I had with Daniel, but it's mine. All mine. I adopted a cat named Luna. I got a tattoo on my wrist that says, "Enough." I've been on a few dates, nothing serious. I'm learning to trust again, slowly. Victoria and I still text occasionally. She left her company 3 months ago, took a position in Seattle. Fresh start. She sent me a photo last week of her hiking with someone new, a genuine smile on her face. Last night, I ran into Daniel at a grocery store. He looked smaller somehow, diminished. He tried to apologize, to explain. I let him talk, watched him stumble over his words, saw the regret and shame in his eyes. When he finished, I said, "I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. I hope it's worth what you lost." Then I walked away. Because here's what I've learned. You can't fix a person who's broken in ways they refuse to acknowledge. You can't love someone into being honest. You can't sacrifice yourself on the altar of someone else's potential. The best revenge isn't destroying them. It's becoming someone who's grateful they're gone, because their absence made room for the life you actually deserved all along.